Hello, church, and welcome to week 8 of lockdown. We are halfway through week 8, and for some of us, it might even be a bit longer. So, how are we doing? How are we doing with it? Now, are you one of those people that you're loving it? You are loving the slower pace of life. You are loving being able to spend the days in your garden or reading or with your family, whatever it is you might be choosing to do. Or are you one of these people that you're hating it? You are absolutely hating every day. That every day you feel like a failure. Every day you feel like you've got it wrong. That you are done with lockdown. You can't do it anymore. It needs to end. You need to get back to routine. You need to get back to normality, whatever that may look like these days. But you are done. Or are you one of these people that you're in the middle? You're kind of in the middle, that it's okay. You have your good days, you have your bad days. It's okay. It is what it is. It's okay. Now, whichever category you fall into, there's one thing we all need to remember, and that is, who is our God? Who is our God? Because I can tell you today that we serve a good God. We serve a faithful God. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I shared a message looking at the story of Job, and if you haven't seen it, go back and have a look at it. But here we have a guy that is going through an awful time. He has going through immense pain. He is going through the worst season you can possibly imagine. And some of his friends come to bring him a bit of comfort and guidance. And today I want to share with you some of the words that Job's friends bring him in this time. So I'm going to be reading from Job 5 verses 8 to 9 from the Message Bible, where it says, "If I were in your shoes, I'd go straight to God. I'd throw myself on the mercy of God. After all, he's famous for great and unexpected acts. There's no end to his surprises." And it's that second bit that I want us to focus on today, where it says, after all, he's famous for great and unexpected acts. There is no end to his surprises. Now, I have to admit, for me, I have been spending a lot of lockdown up here. I have been spending a lot of it daydreaming about what it would be like if we'd been able to move before lockdown came into place. If we'd got down to Maidstone and we could be using this time to set up our new home rather than being left in a place of want. I imagine what it would be like to have the space of a whole house. I imagine what it would be like to have a garden with a trampoline and a paddling pool, somewhere where the kids could just run out and be free. And the longer lockdown has gone on, the bigger my garden has got. Because you see, up here it's glorious. Everything is perfect up here. Now, no matter how good it is up here, I have to be careful not to stay up here, because there's a danger if I was to do lockdown, just carrying on daydreaming, just living in my head. Because you see, we serve a God that is full of surprises. We serve a God that is full of great acts. And if I spend the whole of lockdown living up here, then I'm going to miss what God is doing now. Because you see, even in lockdown, God's got a plan. Even in lockdown, God's got a purpose for me. He's got a purpose for you. And we need to make sure that we are not wasting lockdown by thinking about the if onlys and the I can't and we're not allowed. And if we stay in those restrictions in our mind, and that's as far as we let ourselves go, we're going to miss out on all that God's got for us, because he is a God that is famous for his great acts, that he's famous for his great gifts, that he's got surprises for us at every turn. And I don't want to miss one of them, even in lockdown. So our challenge today is that we actively seek for the hand of God, that we look to see what God is doing in this season. Now, for you superheroes out there, for you key workers that are still going out to work, you could find God's hand in your workplace. It could be in a conversation you have, it could be in a job that you have to do. For others of us, it might be as we are braving the shops for ourselves. It could be a conversation we have with people. But in all places and at all times, God's hand is there, because God is in all places at all times. So let's be people that actively seek God's hand, that we actively seek what God is doing in this time, because he is up to something, because he never stays still, he never stays silent. He is a God that says, come on, I've got this for you, I've got that for you, come on, let's go again. So let's be people that we don't waste this lockdown. We don't waste it by looking at the can'ts and the don'ts, but we're people that we're actively looking, we're actively asking, we're actively seeking for the hand of God, so that we can proclaim it to the rest of the world. God is moving. We have seen it in our answers for prayers, even just as our church and as the nation and as people are praying. God is moving, but he's moving personally in your life, in my life. God is up to something. So look to see what God is doing. Look to see what he is saying in this season to you. Open your Bible, spend time with him, because he's got great surprises for you. Now, I was reminded of this the other day when there was a knock at our front door, and as we opened our front door, there was the guy that lives above us. Now, he's a lovely guy, but we've never had like a deep and meaningful conversation with him. It's always been like, oh, how's the weather and how are you, and that's kind of the level of our relationship. But as he knocked on the door and we opened it, he stood at social distance apart, as you should, and then he said to us, I hope you don't mind, but I bought the gifts and presents. And this is what we then found on our doormat. Some Lego. He bought some Lego for our kids. Now, he doesn't know our kids. I don't think he even knows their name. But he gifted them these. And it brought such joy to our house. We then had a Lego day where we were building pretty much for the rest of the day. And it was a good day because someone chose to bless us. Now, even though that was from the man upstairs, I see that's an act of God, because our God is full of surprises. God will surprise us in unexpected places. And that's what he did for us as a family that day. And that's what he can do for you today as well, if you actively seek and look for the hand of God. Do not waste lockdown looking at the if onlys and the I can'ts, but let's spend lockdown looking and praising God for what he is doing, what he can do, and what he will do. Be people of faith in this time. Be people that are looking upwards, not downwards, because we serve a mighty God that is ready to surprise us, ready to give us good gifts, if only we would look and seek his face. So church, I challenge you today, as we find ourselves halfway through week 8 of lockdown, that we actively seek and look for the hand of God, that we look to see what God is doing, because trust me, God is moving, God is talking, God is doing. Look for it, seek it, proclaim it, because that is where our power comes from. So church, be blessed by the mighty God we serve, and remember, actively choose to seek what God is doing, even in lockdown. Church, we love you. Be blessed. God is a mighty God.